Any second now. Alright, we are off. This is Mr. P, Team Black, Armageddon format. Can he win what's now his third game in a row? Going for queenside fianchetto. White, I believe, is looking to just slam the door on the bishop. And you do that by establishing a d5, c4 structure. a3 might be there, just to stop the bishop b4 stuff. Now, when you're seeing bishop b4, well, when I see bishop b4, I think black is looking to control the center with pieces. You remove the knight and then post up on this square. It's my first thought. Ask this bishop a question. See what he does, but no, not just yet. First, the pin. Maybe this is more accurate. First, the pin of the knight prevents e4. This is the main idea. And maybe that's why it is best, actually. h6, you could take the knight out and then play e4. You give up the bishop pair, but you have a strong center. Can it be attacked in a great way? Maybe. There might be some issues with the queen coming over to g6, putting pressure on e4 and g2. Not so sure. So an immediate question placed to the bishop. I'm pretty sure you have to take, as otherwise e4 gets played, and white has a monster center. e4 can be played right now. Now with this knight does not intend to stay here for so long. His dream square, now that there's doubled c-pawns, is to play to a5 to put pressure on c4. Okay, so we're not having that. We're not having e4. Just a more solid approach. Watching over d4, bishop d3 is there, and I guess you could still be watching over c4 with knight d2. This bishop is going to be, it could be won back by force. Bishop h4, g5, bishop g3, knight e4 would hit both bishop and pawn on c3. You do have to be careful, though. In some cases, even if the knight grabs this pawn, it could turn out to be trapped. After queen c2, the knight is out of squares. We don't have that. Instead, it's d6, knocking out this bishop, and yet white has to be very careful. Very, very careful, because if e5 is played successfully, then e4 comes with the fork, and the bishop is dead. Uh-oh. Oh, man, it's still able to be played, because at the end of it, this bishop gets on g2. What's the story here? This position's opening up. Keep in mind, white is the side who has the bishop pair. White is giving the bishop pair back up. I liked knight takes instead. Huh. Or is white going to shift gears and say, you know what, I'm not going to allow you to get at g2. I'm going to back my bishop up, and here we go. This is dead. e4, GG. Game. Right? Pick your favorite one. Bishop or knight. One of them will fall. One of them is going down. Right? Bishop e2. So this seems like the more aggressive diagonal for the bishop, but you do have to keep in mind what black's plan is going to be. This d6 e5 move. I've fallen for this in an over-the-board tournament, and let me tell you, it was painful. It was very painful. The game was over, I think, maybe a half hour into the game. It was probably one of the most upsetting defeats that I've experienced in over-the-board chess, and I'm constantly reminded of that when I'm playing my bishop to d3, this idea of an e5 move coming with tempo and then e4 coming with the fork, and there's just absolutely nothing to do about it. So this is a good try, at least, to try and keep some pieces on the board for sure. And also by having the knight on d4, f3 to kick this knight here. He's within checking distance. Okay, he's dropping back to watch over this. Knight on b5 would not be a stable square. Maybe if there's a way to get in f3 and e4, you knock out this bishop. I think I like king e7. King e7, there's no need to castle in this position. You want to do two things. Keep your king central and get this rook working. There is only one completely open file, so both rooks can double here. This is quite interesting. If rook here, it's a blunder due to knight f6. Rook here, this rook is unprotected. Tricky stuff. And also just getting to c4. So actually maybe this is just better. Knight d2 to here. King e7 can't be bad, though. There's got to be a lot of good things to be doing for black. A lot of winning continuations. You don't have to even grab this pawn just yet. I like king e7 there. Rook takes, king takes, a check, king here. The other one comes over. Black is up a full minor piece now, and a3 is ready to fall. I wouldn't be going for this, though. I wouldn't be taking the pawn. Because of rook here, knight b5, the knight gets kicked around, and the white rook gets active. I'd just be looking to trade as black, and that's what we have going on. This knight can't be annoying at all. This rook is now able to get to the second. This pawn could fall at any moment. The knight is being kicked first. Knight takes pawn, the rook on d2. You can converge on g2. If this pawn moves, this bishop becomes a giant monster. Actually, even with g4, this is going to be big trouble. g4 might be good as well. Knight on e3. I'd like to have this pawn up to f4 at that point, but this knight is just relentless. Tricky knights, check. Where's he going to go? King e1, you can't get this pawn. King e1, knight here to c4, or back here to e3. I think he has to camp out for a moment on c4. Okay, that's what we're going to have. 1 minute 22 to 2:26. Down on time and material is white. Knight c4, a4, g4. These are other candidate moves. Again, assuming it is a position where we are still material balanced, these are some candidate moves at least to be considering. Okay, so now just meet the threat, and then this one is still persistent. There is no counterattacking move, by the way. After king f6, when we have rook a1, the knight would be landing a fork on c2. So simply king f6, 2 minutes to 1:10. No good solution here. Oh, there's that one. However, the knight could still be playing there with check, and there is no king move to counterattack the knight. Why wasn't I seeing that there's two different ways that the rook could be attacking the knight? Oh well. Okay, now we have resignation. Good games, or good game to you both. Okay, Mr. P is 3 for 3. Very, very good.